Welcome everybody to our next session where Attitude is Everything, where we speak to real business owners who have refused to give up during this lockdown period and continue to survive and even thrive. So this week we're talking to Linda Cloak of We Do Social Media. Hi Linda.
Hiya.
How are you? All good?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Good stuff. So just for the people watching, could you give a brief overview just of who you are and what We Do Social Media are?
Yes, of course. So my name's Linda Cloak, and We Do Social Media is a business that was launched to help people get a presence on social media. I realised back when I started that a lot of businesses were actually struggling with fitting that into their routine. So they were used to obviously just putting an advert in a paper or all the things that we would do to market, post leaflets, all those sort of things. You generally give them to someone else, they do it. With social media, people were trying to do it themselves, but they were struggling with the time. So initially our offering was to simply do people's social media for them.
Hence the name, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Cool. So who are your sort of target clients? Who do you mainly work with at the moment?
So we're working with a real cross-section of businesses, from will writers and people in finance through to people who are tradesmen, venues. So a real cross-section of people who simply want to get their brand out there and be visible. And it's so easy now with social media to be able to do that and take advantage of an opportunity that's been there for some time. It's just like with anything, it's never too late, and it's as good a time to start as any, because the amount of people on social media at the moment has just gone through the roof.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, it's probably a better time than ever, right? I think, everybody knows that they should be on social media, but maybe they don't know how, or maybe they don't know, what results they can achieve and stuff like that. So you work with people that are like one-person bands right up to, all different size companies, is that right?
Yes, I mean, we did a training session not so long ago, 2 weeks ago actually, to basically an insurance group. So they just started on social media and they were just posting really, and they couldn't understand why they were only getting 1 like or 2 likes. They weren't getting as much as they could get really. So they wanted to do it themselves. So what we did was just gave them a 2-hour training session showing them how to engage with their target audience. And they had absolutely no idea that was even what social media was about.
Right.
The same as a lot of people. They believed that it was just about putting the posts out there and then everything would start happening, which is what a lot of people believe. They think if they just post and then they say, well, why would I do that? That doesn't work. Well, yeah. It's the same as going into a room and just talking to everyone and not listening, which is what a lot of people do on social media.
Yeah, exactly. So, you've given everyone a bit of an overview of what you do and how it works and who you work with and that. So let's talk about like the last few months, right? Just before we went into lockdown and at the start of lockdown. The question I'm asking everyone is, when did you first realise that something big was happening and that you guys might have to change? Whether you have changed, we'll come on to that in a bit. But when was the first time that you realised that actually it was the scale and the enormity of what was going to happen?
Well, anyone who's watching this knows that I was running 2 other businesses at the time COVID hit. And I was actually on a cruise. And so the other events were event-based. And I said to my daughter when I went away, oh, you've only got to get a few people to these events. And I spoke to her when I was on holiday and she said, Mum, everyone's cancelling events. And not only they're cancelling, no one's booking. So I'm really worried. I don't know what's happening. I think it's this coronavirus thing. And Elle rejoined We Do Social Media the month before. So Elle and I were talking about what we were going to do with the business, where we're going to take it. Now she was back on board. And my other daughter, Sam, was sort of, what's going on? I don't understand. And then, of course, I came back on the 14th. So I've been back a week. Right. And then it hit. We did lose clients. I think people would just panic, like cut costs, straight away. So, which I think is a natural thing for some people. So that we lost a few clients, and then Ellen and I were sitting down. One of the clients we lost, we were just sitting there chatting, saying, oh, well, we were on a diet as well. We couldn't go to the gym anymore. So we said, social media is a bit like, being on a diet, isn't it? And going to the gym, you've just got to, just do it regularly, make it a habit. And if we make it a habit to eat the right food, then we're going to lose weight easy. And if we go out and exercise every lunchtime, then that will make us fitter. So it will be really good. And then I can't remember if it was me or Elle, but one of us just went, oh my God, that's social media. Social media is a habit. Let's do some workouts and, let's start social media gym. And we were both so excited. But, with Elle, she likes to do everything, plan it, get it all right. And there were so many ideas for the gym, so much work to be done. And then we employed this fabulous business coach, and he went, just do it, girls.
I won't ask his name, don't worry, I'm not looking.
So we started doing the workouts, and it's taken us back to sort of the level we were when Elle was part of the business before. So when she was part of the business before, she wrote CPD accredited training programs. We were training 40 to 50 businesses in the room, mixed businesses at a time. But when Elle left, I sort of stepped back from doing all of that and just offered what we did in the first place, which was doing social media. But now we do a strategy plan for a business. When a business comes on board with us, we look at their business, we look at their competitors. And again, Elle has come in and she's done all this. It's all part of a plan to make sure that when we do people's social media, we're fully aware of everything about their business, and they're fully aware of, we give them the expectations of what they'll be able to achieve. So we get people who start from scratch, never been on there, to others who've sort of been doing a bit here and there.
So I mean, what you're saying is you bought, you didn't know nobody knew this was coming, right? But you bought, you were already looking at your business, you're already looking at how to develop it.
Yeah.
You touched on it there, and it's absolutely, I totally agree. In everything in business, let alone social media, it's about consistency, and you've got to keep going all the time. You've got to be in the habit of doing these things. It's, we say about success is just a few small habits done every day, and failure is a few errors every day, right? So, there's quite fine margins, but, so you've bought a lot of products in, right? So I know, I know from working with you guys, that you've looked at and you've really structured out your product ladder, things like that. Would you have you bought extra products in because of COVID, or would you have bought them in anyway? And you've talked about the workout. So, which ones do you think were driven by COVID happening, and which ones would have happened anyway and made it onto your product ladder?
Well, the workouts were going to happen anyway.
Yep.
They were already in the mind and sort of being badgered about and everything.
Yeah.
We're like, should we do this, and how should we do it, and what should we do? And again, Elle is the technical person, so she was like, I think we need to do it this way and that way. So she's the main driver of it, really. I'm just in the background saying, come on. And the other one, I think one that we brought onto the project ladder that we wouldn't have done without COVID is the starter package. So the starter package is just £75 per platform for 6 posts. So they've got continuity, but we would normally suggest a minimum of 15 posts. But some people are happy with like 1-2 posts per week. So 6 posts per month is a starter pack. That's something we definitely wouldn't have brought on, I don't think. But we're doing it to help businesses so that they can have the presence. But if they're struggling with finances, it's taken that away, but it's, only £75. So it's,
Yeah, cool. And where's your mindset been with all of this, right? So when this first hit, you said about you had a couple of other businesses, and what with the We Do, social media, etc. So where's your head? Have you been on this roller coaster that everyone's been, that a lot of us can relate to? Have you been all totally positive all the way? Has it been tough? Has it been easy? Where's your head been on this?
I mean, I'm a very positive person anyway. And I would say I've always got a go for it attitude, but there's been things that I've struggled with, definitely. I mean, I was living here on my own, and then suddenly I had Elle and 2 cats move in the house. That was a tough one. Elle lost someone through the coronavirus. My mum was in hospital for 2 weeks. I lost 2 businesses. you know, I mean, it's been a real roller coaster, but throughout it all, we've remained strong together, and we've tried to do the best we can for our clients, making it all relevant. So, for example, normally we would do posts for clients. We're doing them now for September because it's beginning of August, but we pulled everything back, and we were just doing posts as we go because we didn't know how things were gonna change. So we changed our structure to make sure we were doing the best job for them. You know, because you can't, I mean, you know, throughout the coronavirus, for example, we would have been posting about holidays.
Yeah.
You know, for a lot of people, you know, make sure that you're, you know, or maybe your water's turned off when you're away on holiday or things like that. You know, that would have been, we couldn't have spoken about something.
This wouldn't have been relevant, right?
No.
So, yeah. Okay. And what sort of differences to your business have you made? You know, so you've talked about, you know, you couldn't just build out all that content in advance. You were reacting because everything was changing, you know, almost on a daily basis, right? So, what other changes have you brought into your business to deal with, you know, what's going on in the market at the moment?
Well, we're working towards actually selling licenses because with the way things will be going next year, I think a lot of people are going to be made redundant, and I think it's going to be really tough out there for people who want to grow a business, and also people who maybe just want to have thought, actually, I really like working from home when I was furloughed. They lose their job, you know, get a bit of redundancy money. What am I going to spend it on? So, you know, what the licenses will include is a training program, obviously ongoing support, and what they're paying for the license is, you know, fairly small. It would be the cost of what it would cost them to set up a business in the first place. So what it costs you to, I would say, set up a business properly is probably between $3,000 and $5,000. So once you've had a proper website built, proper branding, you're talking about £1,000, you know, so just those costs, and they can buy a license and they've got the full support of a business and full training, use for website, and lots of other benefits as well. So that's something that we're doing really because of the coronavirus.
Okay, so I mean, what's been one of your biggest wins since this has gone on? So we've been in this for a million years now, it feels like, right? So what's been one of your biggest wins? You know, you've obviously had some very testing times. You've had some, you know, you've mentioned about your businesses and personal side and stuff like that. So, you know, what's been a major win for you, you know, personally and business wise?
Well, I mean, I've got a very strong family. You know, I think the major win really is the workouts for the business. I mean, the success we've seen our companies, you know, that we work for get inquiries, and, you know, they get leads, and you just feel excited when they get all of that. That's part of what we do. So that's exciting. But the workouts have shown phenomenal success for businesses. I mean, you're talking, you know, some people's have grown by 3,000%. You know, it's absolutely phenomenal, and has done better than we even expected. I mean, you know, we were thinking it would just be the people on the workouts that are seeing the benefits, but they're seeing the benefits not just in the workouts, but you've seen them now also engaging with their target audience, which is the whole idea. Make it a habit, and then going forward, do it with your target audience. Because someone said to me the other day, the thing is, the people in that workout, they're not my target audience. And I was like, well, no, I know, but this is teaching you how to reach your target audience, how to engage with them.
Yeah, and I can confirm that actually from a personal level. So, you know, I join those workouts myself, and I know that, yes, there's a lot of activity. I've said to you before, I put a poll on, you know, I was getting like 6 views on it and stuff. 6 people voted, and I had 66 people vote on one of the polls. But, you know, and then we put a different poll on it, a different post on each week. But it's actually not what's happening during those, during the workouts that's actually giving people the most benefit. It's actually when you come off of those, you know, the interaction's still going on, right? And then people's links are starting to interact with it. So, you know, I think that's a big, very big win for you guys. So and that's something you're going to keep doing going forwards and just grow. Is that right?
Yeah, we're going to start doing them for Instagram when I was ready for that. Instagram, yeah. I think definitely the next one. And I think people are going to see even more wins from that. So Instagram is the next one that we'll be launching. And then Ellie's very keen to do the social media gyms, because of course the gyms going forward are going to be about offering so much more. So we did a little tester where you came in as a guest speaker. So what we're going to be doing in the social media gyms is we'll have guest speakers there, and we'll be doing trainings, and everything that we do is interactive. Yeah. I think I said before, even when we did our trainings, we would always get people to go away knowing what they've learned, because they'll have done it. So the same as the workouts, you do it in the workouts, you're learning all the time. We don't like just talking to the room, we work with the room so they know what they're doing.
And so, with regards to challenge-wise, I work with a few family businesses, right? So how is, now, if Elle was listening in, or she's going to be watching this anyway, but how's it been challenge-wise, working with your daughter, doing, for other people that are watching this, I've been involved in family businesses before, and they can be they're amazing, right? And they're very rewarding, but they can be really, really tough as well, especially in times when you're confined as we are at the moment. So what's the challenge been around that, and how have you got around it?
Well, I think we work really, really well together, as you've seen. Yeah. But sometimes I think it can just mean one of us waking up on the wrong, getting out the wrong side of bed, as my parents used to say. And then it can be, quite tough all day. But to be honest, we give each other strength. We inspire each other. I mean, Elle's only, she's coming up 22, 23. Can't remember. She inspires me. I'm pretty sure I inspire her as well. And we're just drivers for each other. And that's what's really great.
Do you see that as a benefit rather than working on your own?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because we've both got different skill sets.
Yeah.
And it's taking advantage of those skill sets. Some of our skill sets are the same. I mean, both quite innovative people. You've got to sort of, pull the reins in. I mean, I have to pull the reins in with her as well as her with me. But I must admit, I've been very good at holding back and not running off with their ideas. And Elle's the same. We're both totally focused on, we do social media, where we want it to go and what we want it to be. And that's quite a revelation for me, to be honest.
Cool. And so, how do you think that helps your clients in a way of, what you and Elle bring to the table, right? So, as we've said, right, we work together. I know more about your business, but what do you bring to the table? What is working with, you've talked about your different skill sets. How do your clients benefit from that?
Elle is very, as I say, she's plan driven. So the strategic plan, I think as soon as they have that meeting with Elle, they see the value in what we're able to offer. And we get to know what it is they want. And then we explain the reality of social media to them, because a lot of people think that social media is going to, they're maybe advertising a magazine and they get 2 phone calls from the magazine. It's like, I'm on Facebook, why don't I get that? So Elle does all the strategy and the planning and the technology side of it, to be fair. I mean, I'm not going to give away my age, but sometimes the technology completely baffles me. I mean, she said to me this morning, open Zoom in an app. And I'm like, what? I had no idea what she was talking about. Yeah. If she said to me, click the blue button at the bottom, I would have done it. Whereas I would say what I bring to the table for social media is that I've been in so many industries. I've worked in manufacturing, I've worked in local government, I've worked in media, I worked for a TV company, I've worked in hospitality, I've worked in construction, I've worked in telecoms. There's not much I haven't done. I've worked in entertainment. So because I've done all of that, in fact, I had an inquiry this morning from a company that sells cars. I work for a car rental company. She was talking about the maintenance that they do and what they've got to do to prepare a car. Well, I did all that. I was a manageress of 2 branches. We had vans, cars, and I had a shop in there. I had to make sure the shop was fully stocked. I had to climb up in the old days up on top of the tanker and do the dip to make sure they weren't fiddling us out of petrol, and I had to prep all the vans and, deliver them, make sure they were perfect for that client. So you speak about to a company about their ethos, and I would say that's where probably I come in. I'm more from the company angle, I suppose, and have the knowledge to help them in the area that they work in.
Cool. And I know, look, I know obviously networking has been stopped totally, right, in face-to-face anyway. And I know that both of you are pretty big on your networking. So how have you managed that? And is it a bit of a blessing? Do you know what I mean? Are you sort of thinking, I haven't got to drive around to all these different networking events anymore? Are you thinking, that actually did it impact you big time, first of all, and you've got around that? Where's your head around networking and what you've done to make up for the lack of meetings that are going on?
Well, there hasn't really been lack of meetings.
It's been face-to-face meetings, yeah.
It's been much easier to have like one-to-ones, but it's the same. I remember someone saying to me, might be Nita from Family Business Place actually, you've got to make sure that you're not networking and not working. So and that's true. You get to a stage where you're chatting to people all the time, you've got Zoom calls stacked out and you're networking all the time, but you've got to be able to obviously follow all of that up. And that's really, really important, I think. So, but I must admit, I found that networkings, some of them are working better than others, because I think some people that you meet are really open to new things like Zoom, and other networking groups are completely closed to it. It's like, don't want to do it, I'm not going to go there. And so therefore, those maybe haven't been as successful as the ones where people have embraced it.
And are you finding that your clients have embraced it really well? Is that the whole Zoom, Teams, all of that kind of stuff, Skype, or whatever everybody else is using? So have you found that everyone's embraced it? Because it's been forced upon us, right?
Not everyone's embraced it, but they're going along with it. I mean, some of them will just say, can I ring you, Lynn? Then they ring and we just put them on loudspeaker and we speak to them on the phone. They don't necessarily have to see us. That's absolutely fine. We can still talk them through it. It seems more real when it's a Zoom call. And it feels more like a meeting when it's a Zoom. But to be honest, it doesn't necessarily have to be. You can still do it by phone. And the client with the car this morning, I said to her, look, if you want, I'll drive up there and see you. That's fine.
And where do you see the future of networking at the moment? Do you think it's going to go back to face-to-face? Do you think it's going to be it's just going to stay virtual, or do you think it's going to be a bit of a mixture?
I think it's going to be a mixture because, let's face it, business isn't just about, getting loads more income. It's about cutting costs. And, for example, one of the networking meetings I go to, I'm saving over an hour's travelling every week. I'm saving the petrol travelling there. So time and money is, I'm saving it. But the thing is, if you're not going to get people joining that meeting, then there's not a lot of point saving money. You're better off being in the room where the people are going to be there. And yet there's others that they're talking about taking back, and really they're working just as well on Zoom.
Yeah, I totally agree.
You get some people who don't want to go though, Dean.
There's what, sorry?
There's a lot of people who just don't want to do it that way. They, so there's people you're not seeing because they don't want to go, so therefore you're not seeing them.
Yeah, I agree, and I agree with that. But at the end of the day, you've got to question what they're doing to adapt their business in other areas. If they're not willing to adapt their networking, they're not willing to adapt, their way of communicating, then I'd question their ability or willingness to adapt to other areas of their business as well. So, maybe they're not. I'll say it. Maybe they're not the ones we should be doing business with, right? So, with regards to, we've talked about networking and that as well. So what about marketing? Because obviously networking is a form of marketing. So, what have you done in marketing wise? What have you done that's any differently? Have you upped it? Have you reduced it? Have you just continued? What have you done marketing wise during these last 3-4 months?
Well, we've upped our game. I mean, we were, I would say, a typical painter decorator. We looked after everyone and not ourselves. And of course, if somebody's looking at us, then they expect as a social media company, as if you walk into a decorator's house, you expect him to have lovely paint, and it shouldn't look like it needs repainting. But the thing is, who walks into a decorator's house? And we're there for everyone to see. So we've upped our game on our own social media. which I think is really, really important in regards to marketing. I think the product ladder has really helped us, which obviously you brought into play. That's really, really helped us because it was there, as it always is, I suppose, with most businesses, but we hadn't defined it. So although we had the products, we didn't sort of put it on the ladder, so we didn't really know which came top and which came bottom. We've recognised, what we enjoy doing, and it's the same in most businesses. A lot of people are in business because they like helping other people, and that is one of the things that we definitely do. We definitely help other people. We're helping them to be seen, we're helping them to be heard, and we're helping them to engage with their potential clients.
Yeah.
And that's something that I'm getting across now in our posts, whereas I think before maybe I wasn't getting it across. The social media workouts are even helping us,
Right.
which sounds a bit random, but I think they are. They're helping us to help people because we're recognising things in their posts. So it's it's been really good. And that's mainly, I would say, what we're doing in regards to marketing, upping our game on our social media.
Cool, because I mean, look, I tell everybody I speak to, this now is the time. If you wasn't doing it before, now's the time you really should be upping your game, right? And and social media should be a massive part of that. So if they don't have their social media presence and they don't have the time or the know-how, then they should 100% engage with you guys to either manage it for them or train them in it. So, with regards to your business as a whole, in the last 4 months, like I said, it feels like a million years to me, to be honest. But, in these last 4 months, what have you learned most about your business?
Well, I am a risk taker. But I've learned, I think, that, you've got to think about your risks very carefully. It's been a hard lesson, but one that I think we really think about things and talk about things. We have a business meeting every Monday morning now to review what we've done, what we've achieved. We celebrate our wins, and to be honest, well, since you came on board, we've had a win every week. So from that's been absolutely amazing, those wins. So we've had lots of like high fives, and Elle had popcorn today to celebrate her win.
Ooh.
And I said to her, "Where's the chocolate?" And she wouldn't tell me. She just said, "There's lots left."
And what about you, Linda? What have you learned about Linda?
What have I learned about me?
Yeah, in these last few months, it's none of us have been through this before, right? I often say it, we've been through, downturns in the economy and stuff like that, but none of us have been through this before. None of us have been on lockdown. None of us have been tested to this point before. So what have you learned about you?
What have I learned about me? Maybe that gosh, I've got to try and think about this one. I'm definitely a risk taker, and I've found the whole thing a challenge, definitely. But I would be the one to step out into the void and just go for it, and that is who I am. I'm definitely learning more about me every day. That comes with age, doesn't it? I don't think it's
well, some people don't, unfortunately. But I mean, that's become very, very clear, right? That you haven't just held back, and that's why we're having this chat now, right? Because so as anyone listening, you haven't just sat there and accepted it. You've just gone, you know what? We've got to drive the business forward. We've got to make changes. Some of them would have happened anyway, even if COVID didn't happen. But whatever is thrown at you, you're pushing it forward, and you've decided to grow the business and build it, right? So, that says a lot about it. Sorry?
It's exciting.
It is exciting. It is exciting, and I think that's the message we want to tell a lot of people. It's far from doom and gloom. There's plenty of opportunities out there. There are more businesses that should be on, everybody should be on social media anyway. But this has basically highlighted all of those that aren't on there and aren't on there to an adequate level, so let alone being innovative and breaking new ground. So if anybody wants to get in touch with We Do Social Media, what's the best way to do that, or to get onto the workouts as well?
Yeah, it's socialmediaworkouts.co.uk is the workouts. They just have to go and register for that. So fairly easy to remember, I think, social media workouts. if they want to look at our website, they can. But one of the things we are doing in regards to marketing is we're going to be redoing our website. So we're talking to several people in regards to that. We've been looking at our funnels, which when I remember when she first spoke to me about funnel, I was like, what's that? But, you know, I've realised the importance of that, and I've seen the value in it. And of course, the other thing I do as well is I'm open to any interviews. I've always been sort of go-to person for interviews, and I'm happy to do that. I mean, if it was down to me, I'd be doing my own radio show on Zoom and everything for We Do. But you've got to think about, you know, what you can fit into the day, and the workouts do take quite a lot of time. You're talking about a day and a half out of the week to do that, really.
So we're going to watch this space about the We Do radio show. Can I be your first guest?
Absolutely.
Brilliant. All right, Linda, look, thank you very much for your time. I'm sure there's a lot of business owners out there that can relate to your story and certainly take inspiration from it. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dean.
Cheers, Linda.
See ya.